see that clutch block from Angel Reese? Wowzer! This woman is amazing! Angel Reese just won the game for the Atlanta Dreamers. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! You know, it never ceases to amaze me how the mainstream media accentuates the positives with Angel Reese and the vast majority of unknown players in the WNBA, but they conveniently choose to overlook the overwhelming negatives. The WNBA, more than any other league, has the protection of this massive shield from the media. The NBA, constantly scrutinized. The NFL, constantly criticized. Major League Baseball, the NHL, hell, even the orchestrated combat in the WWE is criticized. It's not even real, and the WWE is under a constant microscope. But when it comes to any criticism of Angel Reese, when it comes to any criticism of WNBA players not named Caitlin Clark, the media, they accuse you of misogyny. They accuse you of mythical racism. It's so unfair. These damsels in distress, they are constantly being bullied. For starters, legitimate criticism is not bullying, but for the sake of argument, let's pretend for a second that criticism of Angel Reese is bullying. Like anything else, there are pros and cons to bullying. The other day, one of my friends was telling me about his kid getting bullied at school. It was typical elementary bullying, being picked last in sports, being told that he wasn't even good enough to play. As an adult, it's called criticism, but for some reason, when it happens to little Remus on the playground, that's bullying. My friend was telling me about his childhood experience being bullied. How he was picked on for being too small, how he was always picked last if he was even allowed to play. Then he said, I started practicing more, I started exercising, and I learned how to defend myself. Eventually, I became better than the kids who were picking on me. I looked at him and said, exactly. Without the criticism, or as you prefer to call it, bullying. Either way, without it happening to you, you wouldn't have had the motivation to better yourself. You wouldn't have had the motivation to prove everyone wrong. Oftentimes, unlimited support is a terrible motivator. Endless praise, constant pampering, it breeds entitlement. It destroys ambition. It gives you no reason to get better. With drug addicts, it's called enabling. You know why interventionists devise a plan to force addicts into hitting their rock bottom? You know why they formulate a strategy to remove any and all comfort while creating a situation that involves pain or creates pain? Because without pain, there is no growth. We have robbed an entire generation of their development. We have high school kids making six figures to play football. Why would they be motivated to get better? Why would they be motivated to work hard if you're eliminating their hunger? Hard to wake up at 5 a.m. when you are sleeping on silk sheets. I know I am extremely hard on WNBA players. The main reason I'm hard on this dump of a league is because I don't like pretend basketball. I have never hidden my disdain for the WNBA. But the other reason I point out the endless flaws in the WNBA dump, someone's got to do it, because the media, they continue to polish the turd. And what we are seeing from Angel Reese in year 3, the lack of development, the lack of improvement. You can tell that Angel Reese is not working on her game during the offseason. It's further proof that the mainstream media and their constant polishing of this turd, they are not doing Angel Reese or the WNBA any favors. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about Diana Russini being photographed smooching her husband. Believe it or not, her opponent this time in her lip wrestling match, it was not Mike Vrabel. She was making out with the man that she's married to, the man she cheated on. To me, something seems off about all of this entire Diana Russini scandal. We'll talk about it today on the second channel, so if you haven't already, click the link in the description below and subscribe. Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dreamers, they opened the regular season Saturday against the Minnesota Lynx. Before the game, the half-filled arena was instructed to get on their knees to observe a moment of silence. They were honoring Alex Preddy and Renee Good, two courageous soldiers in the woke army who lost their lives while interfering in a federal investigation. It was an emotional, heartbreaking moment, but at the same time, it was beautiful to see dozens of people honor those who lost their lives fighting the good fight. Unfortunately for those in attendance who thought that the scene was beautiful, that was where the beauty ended. Once the game started, they were treated to another classic performance from Angel Reese. Now, the media, they are doing what they do best. They are celebrating Angel Reese and her box score. Did you see these numbers? This woman is a double-double machine! Of course, they're ignoring the fact that Angel Reese was atrocious shooting from the field and the free throw line and taking care of the ball. Angel Reese had more turnovers than made free throws. And her overall performance was an absolute eyesore. You don't have to take my word for it. Watch it for yourself.
Working from the perimeter, the spin move. They want that three-point shot. It away. A 2-on-1 for Reese, who gallops to the rim. Here is Howard slicing, leaving it for opportunity for the Dream. Gray. She also misfires. And an offensive rebound by Reese, who's a wrecking ball inside. Gets her own miss again. She's had some time. Reese since on the attack. Blocked by Kosu, who leaped for the swat.
This was not a compilation of bloopers over the course of the regular season. This is a compilation of badly missed layups from one game. Now, in fairness to Angel Reese, she may never develop into an offensive player, and that's okay. Dennis Rodman, he was allergic to scoring points, but he was one hell of a rebounder. You guys remember Ben Wallace? Ben Wallace was allergic to putting the ball in the hole. He averaged less than 6 points a game during his NBA career. But Ben Wallace played in the NBA for almost 20 years. Why? Because he knew his role and he played it to perfection. Ben Wallace was a force defensively. He was a rim protector and he dominated the glass. But the difference between Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace, and Angel Reese, the two dudes, they never presented themselves as the star of the team. Dennis Rodman knew that he was not the focal point. He wasn't the player that you build your team around. Dennis Rodman knew he was there to support Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan. Angel Reese has allowed herself to bite into the shit sandwich that the media is serving. She has allowed herself to believe the media as they present Angel Reese as a huge star. If you're going to disguise yourself as a star, you have to accept the responsibility that comes along with being a star. If you're going to disguise yourself as the face of the WNBA, you have to hold yourself to those standards. Angel Reese, she does not want to do that. She wants the benefits of being a star without the responsibility. A couple of weeks ago, Angel Reese said that she will accept a $10,000 fine to avoid speaking with the media. Now, for those that don't know, athletes are required to speak with the media. It's part of their contract, it's part of their job description. Angel Reese, who has deluded herself into thinking that she's the face of the WNBA, she has promised to avoid speaking to the media if I'm backed into a corner. Translation: if they're being meanies, the queen will not grace those peasants with her presence. The matriarch of Me-Bounds only speaks to those who lie about her skills as a pretend basketball player. Again, Angel Reese is not doing herself any favors. It would be one thing if the criticism of Angel Reese was personal. I know she takes it personally, but most of the criticism of Angel Reese, it ain't personal. It is about her complete lack of skill as one of the so-called star players in this league. Angel Reese should use the criticism as motivation to be better. Instead, she uses it as an opportunity to clap back at the haters. The thing is, the WNBA actually needs Angel Reese. I don't know if you've noticed, but Caitlin Clark seems to be injury prone. First game of the season after she barely played last season, Caitlin Clark already wearing a back brace. Now, you can blame the physicality, you can blame opposing players being too rough, you can blame the WNBA for not protecting their only asset. Whatever the case, Caitlin Clark seems to be constantly dealing with injuries. For a league that just committed millions of dollars to unknown players, for the networks that just vastly overpaid to broadcast pretend basketball, it was reported yesterday the WNBA broadcast deal has now eclipsed $3 billion. Now, of course, $2 billion of those dollars is another generous donation from the NBA, but either way, the networks are paying $3 billion to broadcast this turd. Without Caitlin Clark, who has every game on national television, they're in deep shit. The WNBA desperately needs another mainstream draw. They are trying to push Paige Bueckers, but for whatever reason, she doesn't seem to generate interest. Angel Reese does. Angel Reese is a professional at generating attention, but that only takes you so far. The antics, the attention-seeking behavior on social media, it generates views on social media, but it's not translating to ratings. The WNBA needs Angel Reese to generate attention on the court. They need Angel Reese to give people a reason to watch, but it's impossible to do that when Angel Reese is in year 3 and showing zero signs of improvement. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.